All right, hey there. Good afternoon, almost afternoon, everybody. It's just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 10th of December, 2021. And man, oh man, I'm Christopher Inks. I'm with Texas West Capital, and we are coming to you live from a overcast morning here in Boerne, Texas. Good to see y'all checking in. Hopefully, y'all didn't get caught on that volatility this morning. I warned Discord about that last night. Bitcoin actually hit the area, the target area we were looking for, but it has pulled back further than anticipated, leading us into a secondary count that we were looking at. So we'll kind of take a look at that today. Lucky for you, right? Who's here already? Let me see. We've got Boris checking in. Keith's here. What's going on, guys? Nevlusian Blaze. Claudio, Crypto Mowgli. What's up, man? Esteban checking in. Hank, what's up? Let's see here. Daniel Mendez here. Who else here? Anybody else here? Telluride, what's up, man? Data's here. Travis, windy as heck in Lubbock, he says. But isn't that the way it always is? I remember my time there for almost 3 years in law school. That wind, man. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Lubbock's in a very flat area. And especially in the winter, the cold air comes down from Canada, down through the plains to the U.S. Into Lubbock, and it can get cold. It can get cold. But nonetheless, it's usually windy at some point throughout the year, like always. There's a huge, there's many chains of car washes out there for all that dirt that gets blown up. It's funny stuff. Travis says 50 mile per hour gust today. Man, just stay inside. It ain't even worth being out there in that weather. Let me see here. Excuse me. Telluride looking for an official TWC recommendation for a beard trimmer. You're in the max itch startup stage. Yeah, maybe that's what I need to do. I need to find sponsors, beard sponsors, right? Hey there, Sharon. What's going on, man? Happy Friday. Pepe's here as well. Good to see you guys. Hey, listen, like I said, CPI number came out today. It's running hot, guys. We are at the highest annual CPI rate that we've seen since December of 82. And what that means is not much. I know there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of nonsense going on right now, guys, but at the end of the day, we are still nowhere near the levels we were at in mid to late 70s there, running into the early 80s when we had that really high inflation and oil embargoes and all that kind of stuff going on. We're nowhere near that right now. And so, for all the fear that's going on right now, you guys, you have to, especially if you're young and you haven't been through that and you don't remember all that and know that, you have to go back historically and look and say, are we really doing all that terrible? Because again, there's all these calls for hyperinflation, all this other nonsense. And the reality is inflation really isn't anywhere near where it was back then. So, and nothing, we didn't go into hyperinflation then, right? So, I mean, stop just listening to the sound bites that are online. Again, guys, it's just going to make you a terrible trader, honestly, because it's going to leave you confused. It's going to leave you emotional. You constantly have one guy saying, oh, it's going to be blasting up through here, moonshot. Next guy, oh, it's going to Hades, and then those same guys flip their own thoughts, daily. And it's enough to drive you crazy, guys. You got to be careful out there. All right. Hey there, Alan. What's good, man? Hey, guys, if you want to join us, howtotradetowin.com, you can do it right there. I'm telling you guys, there's nowhere better to learn. And I guess I am biased, but I've got the membership to in the comments from them to prove other, to support what I'm saying here. There's no better place really to learn how to trade online, guys. I'm not going to pigeonhole you into one thing and say this is the only way to trade and this is the best way to trade. The best way to trade is the one that you become comfortable with. Okay? That's the truth. Anybody that tells you anything else, anybody that says that this particular way of trading is, whatever it is better than everything else, is just trying to get you to buy whatever they're selling. That's why we don't do that. I sit here and I help you guys figure out what it is that that makes sense to you. We're all different. For some people, it's Elliott, for other people, it's Wyckoff, for other people, it's supply and demand. Whatever it is. The goal is to show you these things, to show you how they work properly. Always based off of proper risk management. And that way you guys have a chance. Otherwise, you're just going to keep giving money to the market, and we don't want to do that, right? So, man, we'd love to have you there. We've got an incredible group of people. You see a lot of, you see some of them here. Every time we're on here, like Telluride and Boris and man, everybody. I can't think everybody's there. Claudio, Navlusian, people that are data that are in our membership there. And so if you've ever got questions, I'm sure they wouldn't mind answering them. They're pretty great people. People tend to stay with us a long time, guys. We've almost got 300 people. So we're not anywhere near as big as your other ones out there. But again, the reason your other ones are so big is because they don't care about churn. They don't care that you leave because they always get new people coming in. That's what they're making their money. So our membership tends to stay with us. And even those that leave tend to come back when they have, the funds to do so, or they feel like they need a refresher on what they've learned. So, man, we'd love to have you there. What's going on, Bill? Bill's been with us almost since day one. Let me see here. I know somebody said it was snowing. Alan says it's snowing in Colorado. Hey, it was snowing in Hawaii just recently as well. Blows people's mind, but, check out the topography there. You'll understand why. What's going on, Bill? He says we're now mandated to wear masks in UK in the shops, but public singing is allowed. And our PM has said if we walk around supermarkets singing Christmas carols, no masks are needed. Seriously? That's pretty interesting, man. I guess you'll be out there singing, right? Let me see here. Mark, what's up, buddy? He says he's watching on his TV today downstairs. Going to be there listening as commenting takes forever to write on a PS3. I will take your word for it there, man. ARM, what's going on, man? Hank says, don't forget CPI is economic inflation, not monetary inflation. And so it's not even real inflation, according to some. Yeah, well, people are going to say what they're going to say. It's just, as Hank's pointed out there, it's just a number that kind of lets you know what the rise in prices is. Core CPI, of course, going up as well. And it's it's just the rise in prices of oil and food and all those other things that we generally tend to buy. Some people are like, oh, well, the CPI basket changes. It does. It changes with what people tend to buy, more so than not. And so as we, have gone on through the 80s and the 90s and 2000 and 2010, whatever, what we buy generally, some of those other things tend to change a bit. It results in a different, CPI calculation every once in a while, but always trying to give you an idea of what the rise in prices is. Okay. So yeah. But anyway, as far as CPI goes, you've seen that we've had the rise in, we've talked about the rise in employment, the rise in wages, wage growth, stuff like that, but that has all been offset by the rise in prices. So it is what it is. I saw an article recently where it was talking about what they refer to as the poor, right? Have benefited most from the payments, the economic stimulus payments that came from the government here. But what they found now also is that they're also getting hit the worst now that it stopped. Obviously. They've seen the savings rates drop. Remember how I mentioned back in 2020, in May of 2020, I believe it was, our savings rate here in the U.S. reached, 36% or something like that, which was just as huge, more than it had been, right? In decades and decades and decades. And then we had, earlier this year, we had another rise, because it dropped back off. And then we had those payments again come in and it rose up to like 23 or 25% or something like that. And falling back off again now. So, people running out of money, right? And if people run out of money, guess what? They can't buy anything, folks. And if you can't buy anything, guess what happens to the economy? It slows down. Now, that CPI number came in hot today, right? So it came in hot, like I said, whatever was just below 7%. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that I think, I mentioned this previously, that the Fed is going to end up tapering sooner, completing their taper sooner than what they had said they would, what they planned on, right? And so, who is it here? It is, excuse me. Let me see here. I've got a comment here from analyst over at TD Securities. And so they believe that the central bank is going to announce a faster QE tapering They still don't see rate hikes until 2023. I think we're going to have it before then. But let's see here. They said that the taper price will likely be doubled to $30 billion per month, consistent with QE ending in March. Let's see here. Officials will likely also convey a more hawkish tone through the statement, the economic projections, and the dot plot, which is basically just which board members are likely to vote which way. It says the median dot will probably show a 50 base point increase in 2022. We expect enough slowing in inflation and growth to delay rate hikes until 2023, but for now, strong data are encouraging hawkishness. Again, I think we're going to get those hikes here in 2022 coming right up here next year. But nonetheless, tapering doubling up, right? So remember, they when they mentioned they were going to start tapering in November, they said it was going to be $15 billion a month for November and December, and then they would see how things go, and they would be willing to raise or lower it depending on how the economy was doing. And so now they're looking at doubling that, or at least TD Securities believes they're going to double it. I think that's probably about right, especially with this inflation coming in there. People say, well, they can't do that because it's going to hurt the economy. Well, you know what? They can't not. The economy's already hurting. This is that painting themselves into a corner that I've been talking about for the past year. This is exactly what I was talking about. You get to this point and you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So that's kind of where we're at this point. Yeah. Let me see here. But so that's what we're looking at. Looking at Bitcoin here. By the way, guys, I'm going to try to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a shorter program here. I'm going to look to be done by about noon. So an hour instead of 2 hours. So we'll see how that goes here, okay? So anyway, last night I was talking about the idea that price would break out toward the R1 pivot. And then I was thinking it would pull back to the pivot here. And because I was looking at this as maybe being 5 up as a leading diagonal. But nonetheless, overall, looking for a target of the R1. And as you can see, that's what we got right here. So, if you're in Discord and you listened, maybe you made you some money there and you got out and waited for the pullback to confirm a possible reversal off that pivot. But we didn't get that. Instead, we got the drop down below to a new swing low, right? And so now what I'm looking at is that over the last few days, I talk about a possible secondary count, which would have this as a flat correction here, right? So ABC down, ABC up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I was talking to Discord, I was talking about the fact that, let me zoom out here to the 1 hour, that we've got what appears to be this triangle here. And so that would be an ABC down, for 1 and then 2. And you get an ABC down for 3 and then 4, which breaks back up into 1, which is, again, what I was talking to them about. And then you get an ABC down for 5. Now, at this point, we've dropped down right below wave A. So we've potentially done enough to finish that wave C. However, if it continues lower, the 3 places you should look are the 38.2 retracement here at about 46.787, the 50% level at 45.902, and then probably kind of this 65% level here at the EQ area of this demand structure, right there around 44,750, 44,800. If it happens to break down below all that, then we can maybe look at the 1 hour S1 pivot down here around 41,455, which would invalidate the count. Just say that this ends up being 3, this is 4, and then this is 5 to finish off wave 2 right here. None of that says anything about, about the top being in or anything like that. Like I said, there's nothing going on right now that would yell, oh God, there's a top coming in. Okay? Or there's a top in there or whatever. So, again, I think, that's the last thing you should be thinking about at the moment here. For right now, we're still above wave 2 right here. And, at least while we're above this wave 2 here at 39,600, your thoughts should be higher. As you can see here, you look at the 8 hours already dipping in to reset into oversold. Daily is down and oversold. Daily's just above oversold on RSI there. We were talking about the Stoke RSI earlier. 4 hour, we bounced out of oversold. We're in this uptrend here. Locally here, looking to potentially break out higher if we don't dip down a little bit lower and then go first. 1 hour, we've just about reset back into oversold again. 15-minute, bottomed out and oversold, curling back up. RSI sitting just above oversold there. By the way, you'll notice we kind of hit the EQ area of this green demand structure here, which comes from all the way over here. It comes from, all the way over here. It was this, the 4th of October? Yeah. So, just continuing to look at that. By the way, so what we're looking at here is we're looking for a breakout above the pivot, above the 15-minute pivot, kind of the first clue that wave parentheses 3 might be in progress. Further breakout, impulsive breakout above this descending resistance of this wedge here. Should add confidence to the count. It'll give us a pattern target here of $3,330.64, whatever, $3,330 above the point of breakout based on the height of the wedge there. Now, I've got right now, if this is the bottom right here, if this is wave 2, this just little dip down below here, that would give us a minimum wave 3 up here at 58,920. And what I like about that is wave 4 would pull back to this previous supply, which becomes a demand structure here, right at this large wedge that I talked about on Tuesday with you guys. It pull back right there to retest it as support and then finish up. And then you get your 5 up here at around 61,774 or so. And that gives you a wave 2 pull back down here toward that same area. And so basically you get a breakout of this large wedge, a retest, and and it works as you expect it to without breaking back down into it. And that, again, defines this as that confirmation that the bottom's in and we've reversed direction. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right here, guys. Excuse me. What's going on, Brian? Should we be panicking? I'm long money. Never panic if you're long money, right? Never panic anyway. Again, just play with it as you go. Like I said, if in Discord, if they were watching the update last night, then they know that was the target. We got it a little bit above it right there and coming back on it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes there. Let's see here. Telluride says arbitrage opportunity. Gemini and Coinbase spread is currently $1,500. What? It's got to be a glitch or something in there. Oh man. Hank says ranging between 30. I think he means 30,000 and 60,000 for a while is my expectation. That's a pretty large range. I would say if you say 30 to 60, you're really not saying much at all. Just because that's basically a 50% range, right? There's nothing actionable in that information, right? We got to be more specific. Of course, it's hard to be really wrong if you say you range between 30 and 60. If you get a breakdown below that 30, then things look kind of interesting. Sure, yeah, but I don't know that it's really tradable between 30 and 60 like that. Let me see here. Wazobia, what's up, man? Good to see you checking in. Travis says, looks like the D1 RSI is the weakest it's been since May. Yeah, that was something else we had talked about before, was how we were coming down toward this area where we've had these lows. And the last time it had dropped down below, oversold here, was back here in May. And so here we come toward that area again. Last time it did that, was coming in right at this area here where we were making those lows. So, if that means anything to you guys, if you're looking at RSI as a metric for how price may be going, if we get that dip down there, last time it was the bottom before this large move up, right? As a matter of fact, off the low after that, we went up, 140%? So, again, be looking for a potential move up with that as well there on that. But man, oh man, you got crypto Twitter. I still don't know how you guys do it, man. Just the nonsense that goes on there, and everybody, it's like the sky's falling one day, and you're rising from the ash to the next, and then the sky's falling the next day, and God, dog, that would be really annoying to have to listen to every day and try and figure out what's going on. Mark, you like my hat, man? You guys can get your own. It's not Texas West Capital hat or anything, but no. Let me see here. Peppy, what's up, man? He says, on weekly time frame, price corrected more than 30%, but volume is low compared to other corrections. Is this another sign that it's not a top or even a sign that we still had no capitulation sell to end correction. Let me see here. Weekly. Let's see what you're talking about here. Let me kind of move all this out of the way. You talking about this drop right here? So if we look at this previous drop here, it's just a little bit more than that. But you had a larger candle spread. So a little bit more effort, a little bit more result. But nothing out of the way significant. It is definitely lower than what we had in this area. So we had this big one here, then we had lesser here, and then we had much less here, which you would expect. But even compared to this previous swing low over here, yeah, we're significantly lower. I'm most interested on this right here of how we are getting caught right in this area, and I want to see that hold. That would be a great sign if we see that hold and we rally up out of that. That keeps the whole, the larger count alive. Very bullish. You expect the pull back into the previous area of support, then the rally out if you're bullish. So that's what I, am looking for right here to kind of pull out with that. Weekly RSI is almost dipped into oversold. Well, it's dipped into oversold, but we've still got a couple more days before the weekends. So not before the weekend, before the weekends. Got to enunciate here. Speaking my Texan, y'all might not understand that. So I'm going to try not to. Anyway, yeah. So more interesting here, I think, is that you have over half as much volume as you had the previous week. But so far, we've got a much, much smaller candle spread than here. So at this point here, you had like $7,800, right? So let me see here. So you opened at 57.3 and you closed at 49.5. So yeah, about 800 or oh geez, not even. What is that? That's what is it? I gotta think here. Was that 8,000? Almost 8,000? Yeah, 7,800, almost 8,000 on this the candle spread here. And right here so far, we've got was it 49,484 to 47,460. So basically just a $2,000 difference here. And this is more than half the volume. So right now, you're getting comparatively more effort, less result here, which is what you would expect to see toward a bottom. Now, like I said, it's still got 2 days left, so anything can happen over the next 2 days. But right now, it looks all right in that area. So we'll see what happens. It's also an R2 pivot kind of providing support here. Once again, these weekly pivots will go to the wayside. They'll disappear at the end of the year. We'll get new pivots for the next year on the weekly here. So, we'll see how those align. Probably have the pivot moving up to this area up here. And, but yeah, we've got all this demand in this wick right here that price is going to have to get through if it wants to get lower. And then we've got demand right here. And then we've got this section right here, which has two areas in the same right here. Two bases in this same area. The price would still need to get through. So it's not a simple, it's just going to, people think that, I want to tell you right now that top's definitely in. And that, we're going down so hard. But, there's a lot of areas of demand that price actually has to get through, significant areas. Because there's this whole range here, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at there. Alan says, I only pay attention to crypto Twitter for the laughs at this point. I mean, it's what it's got to be. It's gotten so bad. Man, there are so many similarities right now between 2017 and right now, which doesn't surprise anyone who's been in markets because it's the same thing that you see over and over and over as you start to get to the end of a bull cycle, right? You see retail generally tends to act the same way. And so what's happened during the pandemic is everybody's been told they can sell their knowledge. The problem is most people who are in trading that are selling their knowledge doesn't really have knowledge to sell. And it's really unfortunate for y'all that come in because they can make it sound really legitimate what they're saying, but it's not. And it ends up just screwing with you overall. Yeah, I see that right there. Just kind of checking that out. So, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You guys just have to be very conscientious about what you're doing out there. Very you don't just want to act just to act, right? Kind of pull up over here. Let's see here. DXY popped up here, finished wave 1. We're looking at potential wave 2 here, but it could head lower. We do get the lower here. So we're looking at an A and a B. Maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 may be done, or it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still coming in. It will have to reverse prior to the wave parentheses 2 swing low here at 95.849 to remain valid. And so what are we looking at? Well, for today anyway, we're looking for an impulsive breakout above that 15-minute pivot to be that first signal that, okay, the bottom may be in there. But we ultimately need a breakout above what I believe is wave B up here at this R1 pivot. So right here at 96.372. And so, based on where we're at the moment here, if we were to reverse out of this area, wave 3 would have a, let's see here, minimum expected target 96.908. And that would give us a minimum wave 5, possibly around 97.127 on that right there. Let me I guess I have to pull that out there. All right. So also, as always, the wave 5 target also doubles as the secondary target for wave 3. So often if wave 3 is subdividing in here, it'll actually reach the wave 5 target. And so that's what we're looking at here. Again, giving us reasons down here to potentially reverse, but it has to reverse. So we'll wait and see if it does. But, again, this volatility here, right? So big drop down, big pop up, big drop down again. This is what I was warning Discord about last night, saying that, with the release of the CPI leading into it and then after it, there might be some good volatility coming in, especially because it's expected to be such a number this time, which it was. So, yeah. Let me see here. Mark says, so many scams going out and around right now. Someone I know just joined a $1,500 annual group, $150 month fee. If you get 3 people to sign up, your monthly fee is waived. Yeah, working on those emotions. I mean, that's not necessarily, a terrible marketing approach because the person that's doing it, they're giving away 1 for 3. So they're getting 75%, over 4 people, right? They're getting 75%. The problem is, again, a lot of these guys aren't really very good at what they're doing, right? They've just started out. And a lot of them, they use this as their thing, their reason to get you all excited. Like, look, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I just started. Look at how well I'm doing. But, again, guys, in a bull market, everybody's an expert, right? Most of these guys, I've warned you, most of these guys that you're seeing right now, you're not going to see hanging around, after it goes down. Same thing we saw back in 2017. Now, quite hilariously, I think, a few of the people that we did see in 2017 at the top there bowed out all throughout the bear market, everything, and all of a sudden they showed back up after the bull market was in full swing here in 2000, recently. It is what it is, guys. They're just retail traders. But they've been, taught that, hey, this is how you can, you can sell a course or whatever, and people will come do it. And then they don't really know what they're doing, but they copy information from other places and put it together. And then they use the marketing approach that works. They tell you what you want to hear. And you guys have got to be careful with that. If somebody's ticking your buttons on things like get rich overnight, how to trade with very little work, with very little effort, how trading is easy, all these things. If they're using those things, most likely, guys, they're preying on those things that you want to hear in order to get you to buy, because they know if they say those magical little words there, that you're most likely going to go in there and buy what they're selling. So always be careful with that. Let me see here. Bulls leading the herd to the slaughterhouse. What is happening? What's up? He says, I am a member checking in from North Carolina. Thanks for the volatility reminder for the CPI data today. Hey, you're welcome, man. Glad you were paying attention. And hopefully you're enjoying the day over there in North Carolina. Hopefully it's not as overcast as ours is here. Though I'll tell you what, we're reaching practically the 80s here in Texas and South Texas. And yeah, it doesn't feel very wintry yet. Though after last year's Snowmageddon here in Texas, I don't think a whole bunch of Texans are too keen on snow coming in this year. For their part, ERCOT has said, hey, listen, we are much more robust than we've ever been, so we're going to keep them lights on and that heat on all winter long, no matter what. We'll see. Texans aren't quick to forget what happened there, so yeah. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up here. Excuse me. So there we go with the Bitcoin and DXY heading in with all that. Let's see here. What else do we have? Oh, let's jump over here real quick to where are my charts over here? Get you guys up to date here and whatnot. Let's see. We've got what's going on. We've got the Dow Jones here. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, so Dow Jones almost reached the 78.6 retracement. We're waiting to see if the bottom's in or not. It's done a big a rally up through here, but so far it's just a general wave 2. 78.6. What we're looking for is a breakdown below wave 4 here at what is that right there? 35,577 and 14 cents. So we're going to break down through that. That's the first clue that maybe wave 2 is complete. But we definitely need to see a breakdown through wave B, support down here at 34,264 and 57 cents to add confidence to the count and say, okay, this is likely 1, 2, and we've got 3 coming in down. Obviously, if we're breaking out above here, it puts a lot of pressure on that bearish count. A breakout above wave 5, this all-time high at 36,565.73 will keep the hunt on for another wave 5 potential target, and we'll see what happens with that. Going in with that, again, we track 3 of these every day. So this right here is the NASDAQ composite here. And so this one, what's interesting here is we came close. So the swing high, this wave 2 swing high was right here at 15,816.82. And we got as close as 15,796.05. So we got as close as almost 25 points within that invalidation point, and we're heading back down here. Now it looks like we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially as a leading diagonal. Again, if we break out above this wave 2 over here, that'll take out this one and likely this one over here, and it may then suggest that we've still got wave 5 to go, kind of like what we're looking with the Dow Jones, right? But if we can make a breakdown, into this, kind of through this, impulsively through this, into this gap here, that should carry us down to the bottom, to the gap opening here. And that is most likely to send us lower. But again, still looking for the breakdown below wave B here, support at 14,931.61. By the way, I noticed Elon Musk is selling some more shares here this morning, or yesterday. I've got my little updates that come through me for the email. So he's selling more. No surprise there, right? But if you're holding Tesla, might have been a tough ride here for a bit, right? And finally, so we've got the E-minis here for the SPX, right? The S&P E-minis. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like a leading diagonal coming off here. As part of maybe like an A and then a B and then a C or something. I've got a bunch of nonsense here. So I think we may be getting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal overall. If that's the case, then price should, or the index here should drop on down the E-minis toward this 65 to 68% retrace, 61.8 retracement area here. So that's 46.44 to 46.52, kind of at the support level here. It could dip down, print a bull trap, and then throw under and come right back up. Again, looking for a breakout above the all-time high here at 47.12 will then, that isn't the all-time high, I'm sorry. That's the wave 2 here. Breaking out above that is likely, I think, to send us through the all-time high up over here, and we'll still be searching for a wave 5 at that point. In this case, though, if we can get 5 down, 3 up, and then 5 more down, again, looking for that breakdown below wave B, wave circle B support here at 45.3150 to kind of say, okay, you know what, 1, 2, 3 is probably in motion at that point, and head lower there. Everybody's still for sure the price is going to, rally to new all-time highs. Santa Claus rally to new all-time highs, possible, but, again, we're going to be smart about it, right? We're just going to kind of play the chart as it develops rather than, just winging a prayer, right? Let me see here. Hank's going to Thailand, he says. 2 more days and it's sun all day, every day. Man, I hope you don't hit it during the rainy season. I don't know what the rainy season is over there. I just hope after that comment that you don't end up there when it's raining a lot. Have fun there, right? Hank says, so Dow Jones down, but Bitcoin up. Why? I don't know what you're saying. Bitcoin. Oh, you mean overall? Because they're not dependent on each other. They're both just risk-off assets. But as I've explained many times before, it depends on the market that's involved. And so since Bitcoin is this smaller, newer market, people are just getting involved, people think it's going to continue up higher, it may last out longer than the stock market there. But ultimately, they're both going to move, opposite of overall of what the dollar's doing. Your dollar is your. It's not that they move in relation to the dollar; it's that your dollar lets them know what that risk is. Is it risk on or risk off? And just because it's risk off for a day doesn't mean that everything changes for a day. Again, it's about the market. Everybody's involved in that market, and what they're looking. Where's their point? Where's their pain point, right? At what point do they watch that dollar and go, okay, man, it's just getting stupid here. We can't, we're not going to get in here. This is not going to continue rising. So, yeah, they're not going to, run hand in hand. You shouldn't, not exactly. And, it's something I've argued about for so long now. Everybody that, again, doesn't know what they're talking about, always like, oh, whatever's going, the Bitcoin's going to do this because the stock market's doing that. Well, no, it's not because of that. They're two separate things. They have nothing to really do with each other, but they just reflect risk. The market's appetite for risk at that time. So, yeah. Hank says he's still long the euro. Have fun with that, man. I hope you get out before it drops. Telluride says I've still got TSLA 911 bids. Next time, Colorado, Hank. You going to go to Colorado, really? What's in Colorado, man? You have to let me know. I'm always interested when people choose, when people come to visit the U.S. and they choose something other than, San Francisco, New York City, big stuff like that. I'm always curious why they choose these other places. So, yeah. Let's see here. Allie, what's going on, man? He says, I took my Norwegian friends with me to the stream today. They are saying hi. Well, hello, friends. Good to have y'all checking in with it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Nope. I don't tell y'all necessarily what you want to hear, but I do discuss what's going on with the markets and what's, a more realistic look at it. You're not going to get, moonshot coming or something like that from here. That's no fun. Why would I do that? Then you guys end up losing money. If it doesn't work out, because if you're here and especially if you're not a, experienced trader, you probably don't know much about proper risk management. And so when you listen to somebody tell you, you go long or go short or whatever, you do it blindly. You don't understand how to actually get yourself in that position and then out of that position. And I'm really, really against people that are in my position, out here kind of doing this for you guys, doing that. Because how does that help you? Right? Anyway, so good to see y'all checking in with that. Oh, Hank, you going to, because the Rockies. Oh, okay. Well, the Rockies extend out of Colorado, right? You should go check out the Grand Tetons over there in Wyoming as well. You'll be pretty close. You'll be a few hours away. Jackson Hole, if you want to see where the wealthy converge to talk about Fed bank stuff. You can check that out. It's a gorgeous area anyway, though. Let me see here. Telluride says, great beer, fit women, and four-wheeling on mountain passes with views to die for. Telluride's talking about Colorado. But he leaves out the fact that you guys can get mauled by bears and tigers and mongoose, oh my, right? But yeah. Don't hike into the mountains, guys, if you're not, if you're not aware of what could happen there. There are animals out there, and they will not care who you are or what your reason for doing there is. Oh man. I only say that because, man, I've talked to people who've just gone out blindly. They had no clue they had to worry about potentially coming across bears or, I don't know. What do y'all call them in that area? Mountain lions, cougars? Whatever you call them over there, them big cats. You got to be careful with that. You got to know what you're doing, for sure. He says that's what the 10 millimeter is for. Anyway, guys, let's kind of continue on here. What else do we got? We've got TLT, J&K. Well, I want to show you this interesting one. So I've talked about this briefly. The TLT Bitcoin chart that I put there. This is one you have to actually input yourself into TradingView. It doesn't come up. So it's TLT/BTC USD. As you can see here, we've got this move down. And we're kind of looking at the idea of potentially having one more lower low coming in, which would align with Bitcoin taking one more move up, right? Potentially this is a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C is a 4 maybe, and then 5 down, maybe. This is the weekly chart. We can notice that in this range here, we've got volume continuing to expand. We do have this potential shooting star or a it depends on how the week ends. It could end up being a shooting star or something. But basically this doji candle up here in space by itself. And so what we'd see is if the week closed like this, if next week then gaps down and closes with a nice supply structure there on the candle, then we would likely expect this to continue on lower here before finishing up. Remember, the idea of this chart is that you're seeing TLT are those long-term government securities. So that's safety, right? So when things go risk off, you tend to look at that as your gauge that it is, right? Because people then leave the markets and they put their money, their wealth into those long-term government securities to protect themselves from the drop, right? And so this just plots that against Bitcoin, so as Bitcoin rallies, that should be, like I said, risk on. But as TLT rallies, then, risk off kind of thing. So again, it looks like we may have 3 coming down here. I think it's just above that swing low. Let me see here. Yeah, we've got that just below that swing low there, or just above that swing low. So, it could be maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5 here, and then a 3 on a real low back here, and then head up. But we're going to see what happens here. If we get this breakdown below that swing low, that'll align with that idea. Does that mean that Bitcoin can't go up higher? No, it sure can. So the way that works, this is kind of like the way I explained it with the dollar, is that as TLT gets stronger, it's going to have pullbacks along the way. And so how does Bitcoin continue to make higher highs if TLT is moving opposite, right? And so the idea is that at first, Bitcoin is moving larger, okay? So when TLT makes a pullback, Bitcoin's going to rally greater than that pullback that TLT is making. So TLT just may be making a short kind of pullback that takes some time, and Bitcoin's going to rapidly rally is what we're talking about. And so again, in that case, that would kind of feed that whole narrative of a possible blow off top, Q3 or Q4 or something like that, right? So that could happen. This could get 5 waves up, and then that wave 2 on that pullback could be that final big wave up for Bitcoin if that were to happen. So just something to look at on there. Let's see here. Have a great day, Alan. Thanks for checking in, man. Hank believes you're going to get 33 before 60. You might, but that's very far off from where we are at the moment. So definitely be sure you're watching those other things in the way. There's a lot of support prior to that. But yeah, definitely possible. Let me see here. In a decent bit of a rally right here so far. Just going to kind of break out above that swing high and head on up there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this person. So they keep putting there. I don't know that your guesses have been pretty accurate, Hank. You guessed that the euro, that the DXY was going down to the mid 80s at the beginning of the year, and you've kind of raised that consistently. I don't know. If you want to talk about guesses, we'll see what happens though. Again, this is kind of where we're at here. So 33 gets you where? Gets you way down here. Again, I think Hank are you still basing that off the idea that you've got this flat correction going on? Because if you got a flat correction, it's most likely going to drop down below the swing low here. It shouldn't hit 33 and then head up. Now, it could as maybe a running flat. But again, there's a lot of, again, we talked about this on Tuesday. There's a lot of, okay. So again, the way to think about it is it's a much more difficult count. You have to do a bit of more finagling to get this as a flat correction rather than to get it as 5 waves down here to finish a flat correction over here. 5 waves down and then starting your impulsive rally up. Again, that doesn't mean it can't, but I tend to always take that easier approach. When you start getting more and more complex with your Elliott wave count, most often that means that it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. Because there's just you get more and more complex with it because it does all this overlapping motion in certain areas and whatnot. And, you're kind of sticking with that lower time or that really lower time frame as you do it. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. Right here on the daily, you can see we kind of got rejected S1 pivot. But again, a lot of demand in the pivot in the wick here. So we'll see how that works first of all going on there. Let's see here. From a fundamental standpoint, will you be looking to be short on bonds over the coming months? I don't normally trade bonds. I'll be honest with you. I don't normally trade them. So, yields popped up this week. They had a good rally this week. Treasury yields had a good rally leading into CPI. CPI hit what was expected, so they've kind of cooled off now. So, we'll see what happens with all that. But I don't normally trade bonds myself. So, yeah. Let me see here. What else do we have here? Oil. Let's check what's going on with the oil here. Let's see. There we go. Oil. There we go. So it looks like we probably topped out. We've got this wave circle 4 target up here at around 73 and some change. I think we've got 5 down here and then an ABC up. So we want to see as a breakdown. We broke down through this first support here, which is usually, the first clue that top may be in. Looking for a further breakdown here below wave B. Support at 65.60. If we can get that gives us a minimum expected wave 5 target down here. Wave 5 of 3 is what I have right now at 57.65. So, again, this is boasted well for the USD CAD trade. I went long a couple of days back. I was talking to Discord last night saying that I might get out of it before the CPI, but I just decided to, and then I was talking myself into sticking around with it. If you guys watched last night's BMA video update at the end of it, you'll remember I was kind of back and forth on whether I should just go ahead and get out and lock in that profit. And I figure we've probably got higher up, so I went ahead and just hung around with it. And so right now, I got in at 1.26169. Right now that gives me about 92 pips in profit right now. So that's not too bad there. That was almost the bottom, by the way, for that. So let me see here. If we take a look at this chart, let's see here, USD CAD. We take a look at this chart here. What I say, 1.26169. Let's see where that is. 0.2669. So that's where I got in. So pretty close to a bottom on there. Yeah, I got in on the 8th over here. So I've been in for a couple of days, like I said. Just looking at this potentially rallying up above this swing high here and continuing higher. So we'll see if I can get that. So far, been all right. Let me see, that's the 1 hour. The 1 hour's got a lot of room here, but just kind of mid-range on the RSI and the Stochh RSI at the moment. So, kind of just sideways here. Now, within this range, you can see that we've got this drop-off in volume. And then we've got the increase in volume off the swing low, basically this spring here. I move up. So we'll see if we can get some continuation higher. Now, your 4 hours up here and kind of curled down. And then here's what we just saw happen. But your daily is just now crossing bullishly and threatening to kind of break out there, finding support around that daily pivot. The 4 hours, the only one's kind of being a stickler right now for the, on the top side of that, but even your 15 is kind of just halfway there. So we'll see if we can get that that rally up and through that breakout through the top there to kind of keep that going. Let me see here. Long, just in time here, long XTZ Tezos out of the 61.865 retracement area for a quickie, bull div, and breaking retesting RSI resistance on the H1 degenerate time frame. Yeah. Oh man, so the other day, XTZ finally popping out a bit, right? Man, earlier this week, it seemed like you just couldn't get it to go. Remember, the Tezos was the darling there for a while. Everybody's kind of jumping in it, right? Now they just forgot. That's the way you guys have to be careful about with if you're using social media here to kind of figure out what you should be in. Because everybody get all crazy and they'll speak about how perfect something is and to do it. And they'll get into it, and then they'll just kind of forget about and get onto the next new shiny thing, right? It's always about what's shiny today. So, yeah, be careful with that, guys, when you're doing that. I remember for a while there, though, Tezos, man, it was like nothing could outshine it, right? People were saying they were going to be in it forever, and now all of a sudden they're quiet. So, a few places starting to take Shiba Inu now. You've got, I think I saw Overstock was taking it. Oh, gosh, somebody else was as well. I can't remember. I don't know that they'll continue to take it when the bear market hits. We'll probably see a lot of these online, these commerce, these companies that are accepting crypto for payments. A lot of them will stop taking them in the bear market, and of those that continue to take them, a lot of them will stop taking the what ends up being the smaller cap ones. They'll stick with the larger cap ones if they continue to take it. So be careful with that if you're holding because you think, somebody accepted it now or whatever. It seems to always kind of change with all that, right? So yeah. Anyway, there you go, guys. That'll do it. That's our hour. So I'm going to get out of here, and we're going to kind of watch Bitcoin if you're in Discord, as I've been doing today already. I'll update with any changes that are going on there. You've got your lower targets. Everybody's got those lower targets here. We're kind of looking at as it does, as it breaks down. Definitely not taking the position it goes down for sure right now, anything like that, because there's a lot of demand along the way there. And you don't want to go, it's definitely going down, and then just kind of be all emotional about that and, and not take profits if you're short and kind of get in long when you should, right? So I hope you guys have a great day as always. Remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So please keep working on that risk management. We'd love to have you over at Texas West Capital. So join us at howtotradetowin.com. We're going to be unleashing a whole bunch of new stuff. We've done so much new stuff leading into the end of this year. We're going to do so much more through next year. And we're actually going to develop some, we're kind of looking at developing some indicators, guys, based on some of the things that I talk about. So we'll have those as well to kind of help you make your trading a little bit easier. But remember, guys, I'm not here to tell you that trading's easy. It's not. It's simple. It's not easy. You got to deal with your own emotions and all that other fun stuff that is always a lot more difficult to deal with, okay? So don't let somebody blow smoke up your rear end and say, hey, it's easy to trade. It's not. It's simple to trade. It's not always easy. Even if they give you the proper targets, if you don't understand your emotions and the psychology and proper risk management, you're never going to hold to those targets anyway. All right? You're going to get scared out or you're going to get liquidated. And so, the best thing to do is learn how to trade, guys. And again, I don't think we've got any better place to do it than what we do over here. You'll never see us getting on you about, if you're ready to move on, us sitting there going, oh, you need to stay. Oh, what if we do this? What if we do this? No. If you think you're done, that's fine. You can move on. I hope you, at that point, will have really, been serious about what we've been teaching and learned a lot, because you can learn a ridiculous amount in just a month. So, and longer, obviously, if you stay around, right? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Join us at howtotradetowin.com. We'd love to have you there. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Take care, and we'll see you there on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hank, have a great trip, man. Enjoy Thailand. We'll talk to y'all later.